If you've ever found amazing results for yourself and you discover that, hey, this is a process that I've gone through multiple times to do this thing, and I kind of want to share it with other people. Um, if you also want to start launching a business or service, whether that could be a digital product or service, or maybe you're someone who wants to work more in the local space, like in areas and cities around you, then it's really important that you document your process and your service in a way so it can be you can easily deliver it to people. And I want to go through some common things that I've gone through myself when I've had to come up with different SOPs for like places that I've worked at, and also for myself in my business when I'm trying to deliver the best service to others. So, I have in my notes here some topics because I want to make sure that I go through all of the steps. And let's get started. So, I want to first note that you want to start with something that you've been able to see results with. This is also helpful if you're trying to document or you're trying to figure out a new process. This is how you could document that as well. But I think it works really well, and it's a really simple process that you can go through when trying to package a service for someone else. Because what you will most likely go through, if you haven't gone through this yet, is you'll deliver the product or service and people will have feedback for you, whether good or bad. Some people might get confused or stuck on some things. There might not be enough clarity in a certain step, or they'll have questions. And that's not to say that you will never ever stop getting questions, but to be able to create your process and document something that is simple enough so that people will have less questions, there's more clarity. This is how you can create a really great product or service. Obviously, there's testing when it comes to putting something new out in the world that comes with any type of product or service. So you want to start with something that you've done really well in, or you want to start something new. It's fine that you can document this process as well. And to turn that into a product or service, you have to be able to collect enough data from yourself and your process so that when you're delivering it, people can understand and digest it or consume it in the best way possible. This could be a document, this could be a video, but the best way that I like to tell people that work with me, or I do this process myself, is to simply record that process from first step to the last step. Ways that you can do that is if you screen record. If it's something on your computer, you can screen record that. Or if it's something that maybe you're a trainer or a consultant, you can do this by just recording it. It could be on your phone. It doesn't have to be unless you're trying to kind of produce this. But just record all the steps you go through, and don't leave out some of those things, because this is just documenting. This is not packaging. This is documenting everything. So take note of some of those nuances, some of those questions that you've asked yourself, and also clarify and state why you go through those steps in that process, because oftentimes people who haven't gone through the same thing you have gone through don't see the world the same way that you see the world, so they're not going to fully understand why. And a lot of times people need the context in order to understand exactly why behind and the reason behind you make certain steps and decisions. So documenting all of that is probably one of the best ways that you can do this. So once you've you've either recorded it to document it, or you can do voice recording too, but once it's recorded and you're starting to go through the different footage or audio, whatever it is, you can start to kind of understand more of that transformation that you've gone through, and now you can give it a name. Questions that I kind of like to ask clients is, what was someone feeling before, and what do they feel now? Sometimes within there you can get some unique names. Now, yes, you can put this into AI, and yes, AI can help you, but sometimes I think the best way to get the best results out of AI, if you're stuck on anything like naming your packages, is understanding what someone has gone through so that you can help name it and it makes sense to that specific product or service. Because if you're a coach and you help someone with running, like you're a running coach, and you're trying to help someone with like long distance, you don't want to just throw something into AI and it can give you things like sprint or whatever, but you have to like talk specifically to kind of the pain and the thing that someone goes through in order to find the best name for it. So if you do plug stuff into AI, you want to give it enough context, like tell it exactly what you're doing, why you're doing, the type of people that you are trying to target. So that's how it can give you the best feedback. But obviously, the way that you can test that, and I'll kind of talk about this a little bit later, obviously you want to get feedback on the name. Sometimes what I've done is I've tested out a name for a page or a guide that I want to create, and I've asked for feedback on social media or messaging people, and they've given me feedback, and oftentimes the result, like what they say, and the thing that gets the most pick is the one that I decide on. And sometimes they can be so close, but you just kind of want to test it out first. So that's kind of a way that I've been able to figure out how to name something. But you want to make sure it's like it speaks to the person that you're trying to target, including like their pain or the results or the transformation that they want to get. So when it comes to, I was talking about this a little bit, but other ways that you could make sure that this product, you want to be able to vet this product or service before you kind of start to reach the masses. Getting feedback, other ways that I've been able to get pretty good feedback is asking people to test that thing for me, asking people to either send them that product, finding a few clients that are willing to test that product or service and getting their feedback. Now, you don't need like 1,000 people, but if you get a pretty good number, like 10 to like 100 people, depending on what it is, you'll start to get some pretty good feedback on what works and how you can tweak it. Because honestly, your product and service can continue to evolve as people do, and as you as a business owner and a creative person. So you just want to get it to the point where it's at its best so that you can continue to get more feedback. Because if you think about it as you're just getting more feedback from people as you put it out there, then you'll have less, you can put less pressure on yourself to make it perfect. But that's just a quick note I like to add. And then once it's ready to be consumed by others, a way that I like to, especially for the people that, first off, let me start with the people who want to test it without trying to put like a bunch of money in front of it. Now, I'm not saying this like, I'm just trying to speak to people where they're at. So if you're someone who might not have a whole bunch of money, you're going to have to use more of your time. And if you're someone who has more money, then you can use that to save you some time. It just depends on where you're at, and no side is better than the other. But if you're someone who wants to find more ways that are cost effective for you, you can use Facebook. You can go into Facebook groups. You can use people that you know. You can post on the social media platform that you are on and ask for people to test it out. You can call up beta testers and whatnot, but you can start to test to see, and expect nothing much, because I've done this before, like posting a few times and being like, oh, no one wants to try it, so I guess it's not a good product or service. But honestly, if you go into like, hey, let me send this out, or let me post for as much as I can. Like, don't try to go in there and be like, oh, if I post this once, nobody liked it. But know that you will have to post for a while, especially if you're someone who might not have the biggest following on social media. But if you go in there with a plan, like, now this video is not talking about like marketing, like metrics and stuff like that and what you can do, but I want you to know that if you try to just do something once and hope that you're going to have the best results, that's not going to happen. But if you go in there being like, hey, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to be in this, and I'm going to just figure out what I can. I'm not going to like go in there hoping for some magic or people are going to get, like, no. Just go in there on social media. I've posted so many times, and I've been in groups. I've posted in the same groups, and there's times when I post and nobody says, and there's times when I post and people do. So it's really just a numbers game. And in order to get lucky, you kind of have to put yourself out there and give yourself more opportunities and chances to get lucky. Okay. Now, you want to give people simple ways for them to consume and to purchase this, and different ways that you can do this. You can open a Stripe account. You can even use PayPal, and you can create a simple checkout process for someone so that they could, once they see your product or service or you offer it, you can send them to your checkout. Now, what you might find is some people might not, if you send them to just a blank page that might say something is $100, and you just send them to a random page and they don't know you, not everyone will convert. I don't know if much people will convert. However, in Stripe, you can do this. You can add more descriptions to your page. However, if you create like a simple guide, it could be a document. Like, it could simply just be a Google Doc. And you can have a link after the Google Doc that explains your service or your product or service, or what people can expect from you. Then if you send them to that page after the checkout page, then it makes a little bit more sense. Now, you don't just also want to send them to a blank page. I recommend Stripe because you can customize the look of it a little bit more, so it doesn't just look like it doesn't look like a scam. So I suggest using Stripe and stuff like that. So, ways that you can create a simple guide, like I said, use a document. You can use Canva, and Canva, you can there's a bunch of templates out there, or you can kind of Google or search Pinterest, and you can look at different templates and kind of mimic something that you like, something that's simple. You just want to make sure you have the title of that product or service, what people can expect from you, like a description, a summary, and a description. And then you can send them to the checkout. And that's a way that you can create a simple and easy way for someone to purchase something, especially when you're just trying to test and get the most feedback. And then when you, like I was mentioning Canva before, you can also use that to create graphics and different things that could share your product or service. You can design something that is simple and something that you can kind of resize for different things. I would keep it as simple as possible for yourself. I know sometimes Canva could seem overwhelming, but if you start with templates and then you customize them for yourself, that's fine. The reason why I didn't fully suggest using AI to create your graphic yet is because sometimes AI provides a generic, and nowadays I think, especially now that the day I'm posting this video, sometimes I see graphics from AI and they just looks very the same. And if you're someone who wants to create something that stands out, now is the time to kind of create something a little bit different. Now, yes, you're using a template, but I think when you can use your own creativity with that template, it helps it stand out from what's actually on the platforms right now. And in this video, I can't get into like branding and like specifics on how to do that. If you're someone who wants help with that, you can reach out in the comments. And if we're a good fit for each other, I can help you through this process. But I'm trying to give the best tips I can for you if you're just getting started with this. And the next point I want to talk about is your client experience, because then you're going to, once you start putting this out, testing out, you're going to have a lot of messages probably coming from, if you're using multiple platforms, you will have people messaging from different platforms if you're staying up to it. However, if you're someone who wants to create a smooth client experience, some things that you want to take note is, after someone pays, what is the next thing that they get? Because people are online scrolling and sometimes they forget things that they might have purchased. So being able to immediately deliver a message or next steps for them, especially to their email, like you can text, yes, you can add that to it if that's something that you want to do. But being able to immediately send like a thank you and then sending like the product or service so that they can use it, it helps. Because I've tried and I've put things out and I've said, without having an automatic replying system, I've put things out and people replied, and then I would be back hours later and then I'd have to try to re-engage them, and sometimes people don't reply, and you live and you learn. But I'm trying to, give my best tips and advice for how to manage, building a service, building a business that's that doesn't soak up all of your time and energy throughout the day. Okay. Now I kind of want to touch on, now we've kind of talked more of like the manual things that you can do. I want to briefly go over how to make this a little bit easier for yourself if you're ready to invest in repeatable systems. Now, I have to look something up. Okay, so I just forgot what that meant, but okay, so now that you have your system or your process and you're ready to create your system and make it repeatable and easier for yourself, and so there's less time that you have to like manually do things, you can start using what is called a CRM. And what this is, it's so funny. I had to look up the term. It's called a customer relationship management. So basically, it's a system that helps you track when people come into and the different touch points, like when someone fills out a form, when you send someone an invoice, when they're on like your website, or you're trying to communicate with them. So a CRM is basically what helps you manage all of those things in one platform. So instead of having your text message, your different messengers, your social media, your email, your website, your invoices, and on all of the things that it takes to manage delivering a product and service, having a CRM helps you save time. And I can't go over how to set everything up in a CRM or what to look for in a CRM. However, I've used a few different ones, and my favorite CRM is Go High Level. You might have heard of it. You might have been sold it before. But basically, Go High Level allows you to manage, like I said, the communication between you and a client, or you and a potential client. And the reason why I would suggest Go High Level, especially if you're a beginner. Now, this might be a little bit controversial, but if you're a beginner, you want one platform that you can use for everything. And when I was starting before, I used different platforms, and then I had to use all these other management systems, and I was just like, I'm over it. It costs to invest in it, but it saves you so much time if you are willing, and if you're someone that really wants to build a system and save you time. I wish I used Go High Level, especially when I was starting my photography business. I wished I used this, but I didn't know about it. And I was just a creative person who was doing my best at that time. But if you're someone who wants help with managing and setting up and being able to create more seamless processes for your for yourself and your business, you can reach out, and I can see, or we can see, if there's something that I can help you with. Well, let's continue with this video. The reason why I suggest Go High Level, this is my last point on it, is you can create automations for yourself, and basically once someone fills out the form that they actually want the thing you're selling, then you can automatically send replies, and you can also follow up with them. You can email them. You can, and it's also the way to do that more legally too. Like, you're not supposed to just email random people or find just random email addresses and just send them messages. One, that's annoying. Two, that's not ethical. And you want to be able to create a process with the people that you're trying to sell to, or the people that you're trying to communicate or update. You want to make that process as smooth as possible. Okay. Sorry, looking at notes here. The reason why I wanted to make this video was because I know oftentimes it seems like when you're looking and finding things for social media, like, how do I do all these things? I'm a new business owner, or I'm just starting out, and it's like, how do I make this as simple, and how can I make myself look more legit online? I know I can do this really well, but sometimes just the mental labor and the actual labor of doing it manually over time can feel exhausting, so it can hold you back from doing that. But I wanted to share that there are ways, depending on whatever stage you are at in your business or your journey of being a creative person, there are ways that you can do that. And from someone who's probably been through a lot of those different processes, I wanted to create some type of resource for you so that you can figure out, or you can build your way through this. I kind of just wanted to close this with a quick summary. Start with the thing that you know and that you do really well. Be something that you can deliver, something that you've gone through and you've been able to collect either results for yourself or other people. And doing that helps you to document this a lot easier than if you're trying to just make something up. And I know there are things like AI that can help you make up something, or maybe you can kind of copy from somebody else or get inspiration from other people and kind of make something better. But I believe, to my core, I believe that when you do something and you want to do something well, and you want to deliver a great experience for people, and you want it to feel like not so much work, I think it's best if you do something that you already know well. You already know how to do well. And that's the way that you can package things. Doing and picking something that you can do really well, it makes it so much easier than trying to kind of fumble your way through something you really don't know much of. If this video was helpful, then you can like the video. That helps me know if this was helpful for you. If this was confusing, or if you would like further clarity on anything, you can comment below for a one-on-one, and I can send you my calendar and we can book a time to chat to see if we're a good fit. Or you can also comment if you have any other questions that you think could be a great video to share. But yeah, I actually tried recording this video earlier and it just started really, really bad, and I just had to redo it because I wanted to make sure it was as clear as possible. But I just wanted to share how you can make things feel official, how you can make things feel more organized and easier to deliver for yourself, so that you're not just doing things manually all the time, because I get it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you, well, I won't physically see you, but I will chat, and I will be back here tomorrow. Bye.